2 years ago, when I lost my job, my family banned me from Christmas. We don't need a homeless loser ruining our holiday. They blocked me on everything. My mom's final text: why would we waste food on you? Don't contact us until you have a real address. I wrote, I understand. Merry Christmas. My sister added, 2 years without her pathetic sob stories about sleeping in parking lots, finally peace. My mom sent one message before blocking: I didn't raise a bum who can't even afford a shower, you smell like failure. They celebrated without me for 2 Christmases, posting photos with captions like our real family, all with homes. This year, I saw their posts planning another perfect Christmas without the street trash. I just smiled, knowing what they didn't. December 20th at 11 p.m., my DMs blew up with 45 messages filled with panic, tears, and begging. So I'm sitting here at 2 a.m. eating leftover pizza and I still can't believe what just happened. I keep checking my phone thinking I dreamed the whole thing, but nope. 45 unread messages from my family who literally told me I was dead to them 2 years ago. I guess I should start from the beginning. 2 years ago I lost my marketing job. Not my fault, the whole company went under, like 200 people got laid off in one day. But you know how it is, finding work took forever and my savings ran out pretty quick. Had to give up my apartment, started staying in my car, sometimes crashing on friends' couches when I could. My family. Well, they didn't take it well. I remember calling my mom to tell her what was happening, thinking she'd be supportive or whatever. Instead, she goes, well, what did you expect? You always were irresponsible with money. Okay mom, thanks for the pep talk. It got worse from there. My sister Emma kept making these comments every time I saw them. Maybe if you actually tried harder to find work instead of making excuses. I don't understand how someone just becomes homeless, there has to be more to the story. The final straw was Thanksgiving 2022. I showed up to dinner. Admittedly I hadn't showered in a couple days because the gym I was using closed early, and my dad literally wouldn't let me sit at the table. Said I was bringing down the mood and setting a bad example for the kids. My nephew Tyler, who's like 8, asked why Uncle Sam smelled funny and my sister just lost it. Started yelling about how I was traumatizing her children and how dare I show up looking like that. Mom chimed in with, we're trying to have a nice family dinner and you waltz in here like some vagrant off the street. I tried to explain that I was still family, still their son, just going through a rough patch. Dad cut me off and said a rough patch doesn't last 8 months, Sam. This is a pattern with you. That's when Emma dropped the bomb. We've decided as a family that until you get your life together, and I mean really together, with a real job and a real address, you're not welcome at family events. I was like, are you seriously uninviting me from Christmas? Mom goes, we don't need a homeless loser ruining our holiday. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew they were disappointed in me, but this was my family. These people raised me, supposedly loved me unconditionally and all that. But they were serious. They blocked me on Facebook, Instagram, everything. Changed their phone numbers. Mom's final text before she blocked me was brutal: why would we waste food on you? Don't contact us until you have a real address. I wrote back, I understand. Merry Christmas. What else was I gonna say? But Emma wasn't done. She sent one more message: 2 years without his pathetic sob stories about sleeping in parking lots, finally peace. Then radio silence. Christmas 2022 was rough. I spent it at a 24-hour diner, nursing coffee and trying not to think about how they were probably opening presents and laughing about how much better it was without me there. Sure enough, Emma posted photos on Instagram, forgot to block me on that one account for a few days. The caption was, our real family Christmas, everyone actually has homes this year. #blessed, #family first. That one stung. But you know what? It also motivated me. I was angry and hurt and I channeled all that into getting my life back together. Found a job at a call center in January, wasn't glamorous but it paid the bills. Saved every penny, slept in my car for 3 more months until I could afford a studio apartment. Kept grinding, got promoted to supervisor, then got recruited by a tech startup. By Christmas 2023, I had my own place, a decent job, even started dating this girl Rachel. But did my family reach out? Nope. More Instagram posts about their perfect Christmas without the street trash. Mom had made her position clear in that final message before blocking me: I didn't raise a bum who can't even afford a shower, you smell like failure. So I kept to myself. Honestly, I was doing pretty well. Made some good friends at work, had a nice little life going. Started to think maybe I was better off without all that toxic family drama. This year rolled around and I saw Emma's latest post about planning another Christmas celebration, just us successful family members. The comments from relatives were all heart emojis and so glad you don't have to deal with that situation anymore. I just smiled when I saw it. Because here's what they didn't know. 3 months ago, I got offered a position at a major consulting firm. Not just any position, senior analyst, 6-figure salary, company car, the works. I'd been networking like crazy, taking night classes, really busting my tail to level up. But that's not even the best part. Last month, I found out the consulting firm just landed a huge contract. Wanna guess what company they're consulting for? Dad's construction business. The same construction business that's been struggling for the past year, losing contracts left and right. The same business that apparently took out a second mortgage on the family house to stay afloat. The same business that, according to LinkedIn posts I could see from my work account, desperately needs help with operational efficiency and cost reduction. I've been assigned as the lead analyst on the project. Small world, right? So December 20th, I'm at home watching Netflix when my work phone buzzes. Email from my boss, Sam, urgent client meeting tomorrow morning. The Mitchell construction owner specifically requested you lead the presentation. Apparently there was some miscommunication and he thinks he knows you? I nearly choked on my beer. Dad had no idea. The firm had only given him my first name and last initial during preliminary discussions. S. Mitchell is pretty common. He probably thought it was a coincidence we shared a last name. But I knew exactly what had happened. Someone at his company had mentioned needing help, the consulting firm got recommended, and Dad jumped at the chance without doing his homework. The meeting was scheduled for 10 a.m. the next day. I spent that whole evening staring at my phone, trying to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to call in sick, let someone else handle it. Avoid the whole mess. But then I remembered Emma's Instagram post. Street trash. Finally peace without her pathetic sob stories. I decided to show up. The meeting was at Dad's office, this little building he's had for like 20 years. I walked in wearing my best suit, carrying my leather portfolio, looking every inch the successful consultant. The receptionist, new girl, didn't recognize me, said Mr. Mitchell will see you now. I walked into Dad's office and his face went completely white. For a solid 10 seconds, neither of us said anything. He just stared at me like I was a ghost. Hello, Dad, I said, setting down my portfolio. I understand you need help with operational efficiency. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Sam? What? How are you? I'm the senior analyst assigned to your account, I said, pulling out my business card. I believe you requested me specifically, though I'm guessing that was an accident. Dad took the card with shaking hands. I could see him reading it over and over. Senior Analyst, Morrison, and Associates. My full name printed right there. This is. You work for Morrison? For the past 3 months, yes. Before that I was with TechFlow Solutions. Before that, Henderson and Partners. It's been a busy couple of years. He slumped back in his chair. Sam, I had no idea you were successful? I finished. Yeah, I figured. You did block me on everything, remember? The meeting was supposed to last an hour. We sat there for 3 hours and barely talked about his business at all. He kept asking where I'd been living, what I'd been doing, how long I'd been back on my feet. I stayed professional the whole time. Answered his questions matter-of-factly. Took notes about his company's problems. Explained how our consulting process works. But I could see it eating away at him. Every time I mentioned some achievement or talked about my current life, he looked more and more uncomfortable. Finally he said, Sam, about Christmas 2 years ago. What about it? Your mother and I. We thought we were doing tough love. Trying to motivate you too. I held up a hand. Dad, let's keep this professional. I'm here to help your business, not relitigate family issues. That seemed to shake him even more. I finished the consultation, told him I'd have a full assessment report by the end of the week, and left. That night, December 20th, around 11 p.m., my phone started blowing up. First message was from Dad, Sam, we need to talk. Please call me. Then Mom, Samuel, your father told me about today. I don't understand what's happening. Then Emma, is it true you work for some big consulting company now? Then more relatives I hadn't heard from in 2 years. Sam, heard you're doing well, we should catch up. By midnight I had 45 messages. Screenshots of texts, missed calls, voicemails. It was insane. Most of them were some variation of we had no idea you were successful now and there must have been a misunderstanding about Christmas. Emma's was the longest. Started with Sam, I think there's been a huge miscommunication and ended with we miss you so much and always wondered how you were doing but didn't know how to reach out. Always wondered how I was doing? They blocked me. Mom's message was something else. Sweetie, Dad told me about your meeting today and I'm so proud of you. I never doubted you'd get back on your feet. We'd love to have you for Christmas this year. I'm making your favorite cookies. I sat there reading these messages and honestly, I didn't know how to feel. Part of me was angry. Like, really angry. Where was all this love and support when I actually needed it? When I was sleeping in my car and eating ramen for every meal. But another part of me was just sad. These people raised me. I have good memories with them too. And yeah, they messed up big time, but they're still my family. I didn't respond to anyone that first night. Just turned off my phone and went to bed. The next day I had to present my preliminary findings to Dad's company. He was there with his business partner, looking like he hadn't slept at all. I gave my presentation, pointed out inefficiencies in their supply chain, recommended restructuring their project management, suggested cost-cutting measures that could save them about 30% annually. After the meeting, Dad's partner shook my hand and said, "This is exactly what we needed. You might have just saved our business." Dad walked me to my car afterward. "Sam," he said, "I know I don't deserve to ask this, but would you consider coming to Christmas dinner this year?" I looked at him for a long moment. This man who 2 years ago called me a vagrant and told me I was setting a bad example for his grandkids. "I'll think about it," I said. Over the next few days, the messages kept coming. Aunt Carol, who hadn't spoken to me since I lost my job, suddenly wanted to catch up. Emma sent me a friend request on LinkedIn. Mom left a voicemail about how she always knew I had it in me. The thing that got me was my nephew Tyler. Emma finally let him call me, and he was like Uncle Sam. "Mommy says you have an important job now. Are you gonna come to Christmas? I missed you." That kid had no idea what was really going on. He just knew his uncle had disappeared for 2 years and now maybe he was coming back. Rachel, my girlfriend, was getting annoyed with the whole situation. "They treated you like garbage, Sam. Don't let them back in just because you're successful now." She had a point. It was pretty obvious they only wanted me back because I wasn't an embarrassment anymore. But I kept thinking about Tyler's voice on that call. And honestly, I missed them too, even after everything. So I made a decision. I called Dad back and said I'd come to Christmas dinner. But I had conditions. First, we were going to acknowledge what happened 2 years ago. No pretending it was a miscommunication or tough love. They kicked me out of the family when I was at my lowest point, and we were going to own that. Second, I wanted a genuine apology. Not just "we're sorry you were hurt," but actual accountability for their actions. Third, if I sensed even a hint that they were only including me now because of my job status, I was walking out and not looking back. Dad agreed to all of it. Christmas Eve was yesterday. I drove over to their house, the same house I'd grown up in, where 2 years ago they told me I wasn't welcome. Mom answered the door and immediately started crying. "Oh Sam, you look so handsome. And successful." I was wearing jeans and a sweater. Not exactly a power suit, but whatever. Emma was there with her family. She gave me this awkward hug and was like, "Sam, you look great. How's the consulting business?" Right off the bat, it felt performative. Like they were trying too hard to show me how happy they were that I was respectable again. Dinner was weird. Everyone kept asking about my job, my apartment, my car. Nobody asked how I'd gotten through those rough 2 years or what it had been like being cut off from family. Tyler was the only one acting normal. He just wanted to show me his new video games and tell me about school. Finally, during dessert, I put my fork down and said, "Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room." The whole table went quiet. 2 years ago, you all decided I wasn't good enough to be part of this family. You blocked me on social media, changed your phone numbers, and told me not to contact you until I had a real address. Dad cleared his throat. "Sam, we were just trying to help you understand the seriousness of the situation." "By calling me a homeless loser?" Mom winced. I was angry, Sam. I said things I didn't mean." "Did you mean them when you said them?" Long pause. "Yes," she admitted quietly. "I was angry and embarrassed and I meant them when I said them. But I was wrong. That was something, at least." Emma jumped in with, "We were all stressed about the situation, Sam. It wasn't personal." "It felt pretty personal when you celebrated having finally peace without my pathetic sob stories." Her face went red. "You saw that?" "I saw all of it. The posts about your real family. The comments about street trash. All of it." Tyler looked confused. "Mommy, what's street trash?" Emma shot me a look like this was my fault for bringing it up. I spent the next hour laying it all out. How it felt to be abandoned by the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. How I'd had to rebuild my entire support system from scratch. How I'd spent 2 Christmases alone not because I chose to, but because they decided I wasn't worthy of basic human decency. There were tears, awkward silences, defensive comments. Dad kept trying to justify their actions as trying to motivate me. Mom kept apologizing but also saying things like, "But you have to understand our perspective." Finally I said, "Look, I'm willing to try rebuilding our relationship. But I need you all to understand something. I didn't become worthy of your love when I got promoted. I was always worthy of it. The fact that you couldn't see that says more about you than it does about me." Emma started crying then. Really crying, not just tears. "I know," she said. "I know we messed up. I was so angry about everything falling apart with our family and I took it out on you. But Sam, we did miss you. Not just now that you're successful, we missed you the whole time." "Then why didn't you reach out?" "Because we were embarrassed," Mom said quietly. "We knew we'd handled it badly and we didn't know how to fix it." Dad nodded. "And the longer we waited, the the harder it got to admit we were wrong. I get that, actually. Pride makes people do stupid things. We talked until almost midnight. Tyler fell asleep on the couch and Emma's husband had to carry him to the car. Before they left, Emma hugged me again and whispered, "I'm really sorry, Sam. For all of it. Mom made me promise to come back for New Year's. Dad asked if I'd stay on as the consultant for his business even though the awkwardness of the family situation. I told him yes to both, but that rebuilding trust was going to take time. This morning I woke up to a text from Tyler. Uncle Sam, thank you for coming to Christmas. Mommy says you might come to my birthday party too. And you know what? Despite everything, despite how messed up this whole situation is, I probably will. Are we okay now? No, not really. There's still a lot of hurt and resentment on both sides. There's still the people who abandoned me when I needed them most, and I'm still the son/brother who went 2 years without trying to contact them. But Tyler didn't choose any of this drama. And maybe, just maybe, we can figure out how to be a family again. A different kind of family than we were before, but still a family. Rachel thinks I'm crazy for giving them another chance. My friend Marcus thinks they'll just hurt me again when the next crisis hits. They might be right. But I guess I'd rather try and potentially get hurt again than spend the rest of my life wondering what could have been. Anyway, that's my story. 2 years ago my family kicked me out for being homeless. This week they begged me to come back because I'm successful. Christmas was awkward but we're trying to figure it out. Life is weird, man. Really, really weird. Update, just got a text from Dad. Sam, thank you for giving us another chance. I know we don't deserve it. Looking forward to working with you on the business stuff too. Love you, son. Maybe there's hope for us after all.